right, so the keys to this, Jerry Pritchard, are what? You're a man that's been known to lift some heavy things in your day. You got 5 implements out there right now, all varying in weights. And I think the best quote we heard was, this is going to be a pain.
Absolutely. It's going to be a battle. We're going to see right away the athletes that train this event and put all these implements together.
Right off the bat, Maxime Boudreau will be out there. First up, it's a log. That's 360 pounds. Lawrence Chalet, I can't believe I'm saying that. That's relatively easy for most of these guys. That's pedestrian.
I mean, yeah, they're just kind of getting that warm-up lift in, but it is still challenging. And this 375 axle is actually going to cause a lot of problems. The clean, as we've already said, is so brutal. You saw on that video a minute ago how many athletes are saying how hard an axle is. They struggle with it. The mobility for a lot of these bigger, more muscle-bound athletes can be very tricky.
And to do these after a heavy deadlift. When the posterior is already taxed a little bit, the hamstrings, low back, right, feeling it, and you basically got to deadlift this before you start to press it.
But Brian has really put together 8 grueling events. And we've had chats about these before.
Yep.
I mean, the logs alone are extremely hard logs.
Crazy.
Adding these axles in as well, 5 implements, not just one. It's brutal.
I told Brian, I said, you must have been in a bad mood when you got this thing up, because this is just putting the athletes to the max.
I see he waited till he retired to put this one in.
And another note on this axle, compared to other competitions, they cannot touch the belt at all. If it touches the belt, they've got to just drop it and start again, because they can't get a lift. So when he touched the belt there, it wouldn't have been a good lift anyways.
So you saw him popping it up, putting it onto the belt. Maxime Boudreau will tap out. He did get one log successfully, the first one, which weighs 360 pounds, but you see the frustration as he got to the 375. Laz, why is it so difficult going from the log to the axle? I know it's a different grab, but we're only talking about a 15-pound increase in weight.
It's not so much the weight. The axle is just so much harder to get from the floor to the shoulders. You watch, once they get it to the shoulders, they'll press it no problem.
Yeah.
But the challenge with an axle is the thickness of the bar. You can't roll it like you can the log up your body. You've got to really be explosive through those hips. You also need great mobility in the shoulders and elbows to really kind of come through quickly and get into a good rack position. So the axle, a lot of these athletes do not like it.
And some of these guys, if you put it right in the rack position for them, they probably could strict press 375.
Take it out of a rack. It's not the weight is not a problem to press. It's one of those things. I always talk about a log and axle being totally different, and you've already seen there 15 pounds difference. On the log, it was nothing for Maxime, but with the axle, he couldn't even get to position where he could press it.
Yeah.
And Maxime was one of the athletes I expected to do pretty well at this.
This man, I think, can do well at this. He's
Pavlo
very
Cordiaca.
athletic. He has great mobility, good Olympic lifting background. I'm actually expecting him to be top 3, top 5 on this event.
Let's see if that comes true. 29-year-old Pavlo Cordiaca out of Ukraine goes 6'5", 304 pounds. Fared okay in the first event, but he knew coming into this, guys, that wasn't his event, so he saved a lot of energy. But now he needs to start picking up some points, because we've only got 8 events over 2 days. 1 event is already complete, and Pavlo will have to look to do something special. Now, the first log is 360 pounds. Then it's onto that axle. We saw it give Maxime Boudreau problems at 375. He's got 2 minutes to complete the entire rack. What do you think the chances are, Jerry, that we see someone blitz this whole thing, get to the 420 log, and press it out?
I think there's definitely a couple guys that will get to that 420, and we'll see that go. But a lot of these guys are going to be on these first 2, 3 implements.
So 360 is complete, and in case of a tie, it is whoever completed the implement the fastest. So this will be a telltale, as Pavlo, if he can get this up, he will move into first place.
I think Pavlo will get this. He's good at the axle.
He's a good axle presser. He gets us to a rack.
To his chest. Here we go. Beautiful form, 375, drops it. Now he's got another log to deal with. This is 30 pounds heavier than the first log, and that's after 2 presses up of 360 and 375.
He gets so much power on that split jerk, Laws.
Yes, very athletic, very explosive. Not the strongest strict pressure in the world. He relies on that explosive power, gets his legs involved. That log just looking a little too heavy.
So he's still got a minute to go, so he will go into first place with 2 implements completed in under a minute.
I'm going to say this now, watching these 2 first athletes, anyone that does 3 fast, they're in a good position.
Yeah. If you get 3 done in the first minute, you are going to be probably top 5.
And if you can do 4 implements today, I really don't see many people getting to that 5th log.
Is it the sheer weight, or is it exertion with the event they've just done and then this?
It's the combination of everything. A 420 log on its own, yes, a lot of athletes can do that. But to do it after already expending so much energy and having to go between the two implements.
Fans are on their feet here. Pavlo Kordiaka of Ukraine trying to knock it out. Just can't get it there.
You can see when he drives it off his chest, he gets a lot of drive, and then he loses his wrist, and his handles tip forward.
It was just turning forward, wasn't it?
And then those big logs, especially the log like that, when they tip forward, you're not pressing it.
The good news is he's done with the first two events. So now he's going to have some time to go back and recover as quick as possible, get a hold of one of those nice rocks, get some ice, try to get some hydration into him. But let's look at this one more time. This is brutal. Again, this is not a light implement. This is sport 390.
I think he could do well on this event. So, and I don't think I'm wrong. I just think it's that hard an event.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys to come, but I think maybe there's one or two guys that could finish this still. But I know from watching the Shore Classic and the Strongest Man on Earth over the last few years, these logs are tough. You've used them before.
Yeah, they're very difficult. They're very cumbersome log. And like I said, when they get away from you like that, you're not pressing.
Get away from it, yep. Ivar Smuk-Stelis now will be the next man to step out here. So what he's shooting for to move himself into first place is getting those first two implements done in under a minute. If he does that, he will be the fastest man thus far. Of course, we've already seen Maxime Boudreau. He got the first implement up, was able to get the second up, and then Pavlo Kordiaka got the first two up in about a minute's time.
Now, Ivers won't have any problem with the first implement, but as we just saw earlier, he said he hates the axle.
He's not looking for that axle.
I've seen him really struggle on the axle. 375 will be very difficult for him.
Easy 360 log. Stabilize it.
Gets it. And this is where the slow walk of death for him is. He said he's made no bones about it. He wants no part of this axle lift. This is 375 pounds that he's got to somehow get to his chest, guys, and then press it out.
But just getting this axle could be a huge difference in points. He's probably the slowest just to do the log so far.
Yep.
So this, no.
He doesn't want anything to do with it. Yep. Not even to try. And you know what? As much as the fans want him to give a go at it, I think that's a smart thing. He's like, Brian, get rid of this thing. Done
he
and
wants
dusted.
to just chop it in half and have done with axle.
I think he was exercising the evil spirits off that axle because he didn't want any part of it. 375 with an awkward axle. Just getting it to the chest is going to be difficult. So he is successful at 360. And so his time will go against that of Maxime Boudreau. He will either be in second or third place with 13 more athletes to go. Next athlete coming out, Alexei Novikov. Had a pretty good run in the first event. He'd like to build right here. What do you guys think? What do you think, Jerry, his chances are in this event?
Normally a healthy Lexi, I would expect him to probably get the first three.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's a little bit of a variable right now with how beat up, I think he has an elbow issue, Laws.
Yes, he's been having a bicep issue, elbow issues. He's not the same Alexei we've seen in the last few years, but he is a warrior. That was a good lift on the log there.
7 seconds to get 360 up here on the second event on day number 1. This is the log axle overhead medley. Weisberg Wealth Management sponsored event as he now is on to the 375.
And you might see, some of that being big points. Who can do that first log the fastest is going to be a separator.
And this is something I always talk about in terms of tactics. Tactics evolve as the competition goes on. Now, the guys backstage will be watching this thinking, okay, too fast is going to get me good points.
Yeah.
They're not even going to worry about that last log.
Yeah.
They're just going to be thinking, okay, if I can get through 2, that's going to put me in a decent position.
It's the advantage of going towards the tail end. You can change your strategy as you go.
I'm not sure if it's Alexei's bicep which is holding him back here, but he's really struggling with this axle, and the biceps are involved quite heavily on an axle. He's just turning it into a deadlift, but he's got no confidence to really kind of pop that up there.
Still has a minute to go, so that's the nice part of getting the first event apparatus up in under 10 seconds. 2 minutes in all as he takes a look at this. He's looking at 375. You guys have pointed out smartly, it's not the weight. The 375 they can handle. It's the awkwardness of this apparatus.
Yeah. He's not going to get this. He just doesn't have that confidence in his body right now.
Got to be able to pull that 375, basically pop it up over your stomach, get it to your chest, and then press it out.
Yeah, he's going to do what is called a continental clean. So he's got to do a big upright row to get it to his stomach. And then he can either roll it or flop it to his chest. But like Laws was saying, if he doesn't have the confidence in that bicep, axle press, axle clean is one of the most common for bicep injuries.
And I think the good news for him, though, Jerry, is he got that first apparatus up probably the quickest in
Very
7-8 seconds. So
at least puts him ahead of those.
Yeah, he will not
guys.
be in dead last.
Yeah, come out and do a log for us. You're going to get points.
Yeah, he puts him. He'll finish again, maybe 4th or 5th to last, but those are points. So Alexei Novikov bows out, unsuccessful at 375, but he did get the first log, the 360, in under 10 seconds. No question about this. You guys talk about how easy, relatively speaking, is to roll that onto your chest.
Yeah, I mean, not that cleaning a heavy log isn't difficult.
Not easy.
It's not that easy. There's some.
I said relatively speaking. I
There's
know
some
I couldn't
difficulty
do
to
it.
it, but definitely a little easier than going after that axle.
Absolutely.
You guys are looking at me like, hey, idiot, it's not easy. I'm like, I totally recognize that. 360 pounds is what awaits the next competitor, Thomas Evans. The 30-year-old from Franklin, North Carolina, stands 6'3", goes 360 pounds, placed 6th place at the Shaw Classic last year, and 5th place at the 2023 Arnold Strongman Classic. Coming off that 2022 when he really became a revelation and won the Shaw Classic Open winner, and that was for the amateurs. He popped in, so he's having a word with the champ himself, Brian Shaw.
I've seen Thomas Evans do well on log variations before, log medleys. Just going to be a question of how the axle kind of...
Brian Shaw is going to make an announcement here, and we're going to join this live and see what he has to say after that conversation with Thomas Evans and decide what exactly, making sure that this is the, maybe it's...
You're checking weight?
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Brian's event, Brian's show. We'll let Brian make the announcement.
Okay, guys, so here's what's happening. I just want to, as the contest promoter, I want to verify that second axle is in fact 375 pounds, because both of these were custom made. And I want to make sure that this one in fact is a 405 and that is the 375. So this is the right thing to do at this moment. We'll just verify it because it's the right thing to do for the contest. So we're gonna get it figured out here. Not planned on, but I want these guys have trained so hard for this, and we have worked so hard that if it did in fact get set wrong, we're gonna solve the problem right now. So I just want to do that to verify real quick.
Ever seen this happen before?
Give me 2 minutes to just talk to my officials real quick.
Laws?
It was in fact set wrong.
Oh,
okay.
It was in fact set wrong.
Wow.
So
does that mean that was the 405?
So Pavlo lifted the 405.
This is on me, 100% on me, because I should have had it right. I should have double checked it. So we're gonna figure this out.
All right, we're gonna figure this out.
Right.
We will sort this out. Brian's gonna talk to the officials and find out what they want to do. And this may be a case of wrong apparatus put in the wrong spot. Honest mistake, because they look, guys, identical.
Okay, guys, so I was backstage. I was there for the whole conversation. Brian asked all the athletes what they wanted to do. They took a vote on it, and it was the right thing to run the event again with those guys going at the end. I mean, yes, it's not an ideal situation, but these mistakes do happen sometimes, and all the guys were in agreement that, they'd run through it again just to make sure they get the right amount of points and it's fair for everybody. Yes, it's a mistake, and yes, I'm sure someone's going to feel the full fury of Brian if someone's made a mistake, but, these things do happen. They've put it right, they've made a decision, and we're going to go ahead with the event and obviously get the right result.
Brian Shaw did exactly what he should have done, took control, took responsibility for it, and said, you know what, my bad. Although it wasn't his bad, it's his team's bad. But guys, I look down there, you can't tell the difference. They look exactly the same.
They look the same. Obviously, it's a mistake. It's unfortunate. These things happen. Brian has stopped it and put it right.
Yep.
And it's the right thing to let those guys go at the end. We've got Thomas Evans coming up now.
And here we go. Thomas Evans now on the clock, 2 minutes, 360. And they've checked all the apparatus now to make sure they're right. So now he is stepping up to an actual 375, not the 405 that was in that spot.
And as you mentioned, Pavlo got that. I did say Pavlo's good at this.
Yeah.
And to see him only do 2 implements, I was shocked.
There's the
That's a
difference.
good solid lift there.
So Thomas Evans, with the correct apparatus in the right spot, goes 360, 375. Now back to a log. Third one, Jerry, this is going to be 390.
This is getting really heavy now. Now you're going to start seeing the fatigue after those first 2.
That's a good
That
lift
went
there.
well. That went really well. Now we're going after that big 405.
This is the implement we've still only seen Pavlo lift.
405 pounds. This is the second axle, now in its proper placement. Still has a minute to go.
This will be big. To do this as the 4th lift.
Good clean.
Oh, I think he might
He's
get
looking
this.
strong. He's going to get this.
Big press.
Yes!
Yeah.
Thomas Evans looking super strong overhead
The
today.
crowd loves it.
Will he be the first athlete to complete the whole
30
medley?
seconds left.
He just spiked the volume here. This crowd is starting to get on their feet for this.
420 pounds.
Come on, Thomas.
This will be huge points for him.
And
That
he
was-
is just going to run out of time. Gave it a great effort. So 1 minute 40 seconds for 4 of the 5 apparatus, and Thomas Evans has put himself into first place. Wow, he got that 405. That was impressive.
He's shown what he's capable now. We've got everything set up right. But even without the whole setup right, he's still got that 4th implement. And he did it after doing 3 implements as well.
See how he did that? Overhand, underhand, then he's got it to his stomach, rolled it up onto his chest, then he went both underhand, Jerry, and then just pressed it out.
Yeah. Really great clean, easy press. You can tell he had a good pace just for the whole medley. You know, he didn't change that. He just kept that. He knew to get all these, have a chance at it, you're going to have to set a good pace. You got to be mindful of your time, but you can't push too hard.
I'm surprised to see Alexei Novikov out this quickly. I thought they were going to get to go towards the end.
You know, he might not still want to wait that long.
Maybe.
You know,
that could
go
be the
while
case.
he's still hot.
Yep.
So Alexei Novikov now on to the 360.
We've already seen him do this log. No problem once again.
Honestly, I think I would prefer this. I'd rather go.
Yeah,
kind of
just if you feel ready, you're ready.
Mix back in and not have to wait so
Yeah.
long and re-warm up. And
Obviously, he was going for a 405 axle last time.
he's on the belt.
He feels a little better.
I think they're going to make him drop that.
Well,
Drop it,
they're
Lexi.
telling him to go down because it went to the belt.
Went to the belt.
So the strict rule at this contest, they are not allowed to touch the belt at all.
At all. And so if they,
And I
tried
guess-
to press that out, it would be a wasted lift.
Yeah. So what he's basically doing, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's getting that, popping it up, and then he's resting it on the belt.
Yes.
And then he's re-gripping, and then the press, and that's what they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, and the rule even reads here, like, you can't even touch the belt at all,
Yeah.
besides, resting on the belt. I mean, no
Yeah.
contact,
Yeah, Lexi's had enough.
which that's a big row.
Yeah.
You get that up
Huge,
above the belt.
huge. What do you feel about the belt rule? Like, it doesn't bother me if people use the belt at all. I just
Yeah.
want to see the biggest weight go overhead. But I know certain people, they're really against the people touching the belt.
There's so many sides of it. People are completely against it, and you're like, oh, use it. I don't know. I guess as long as whatever it is, it's the same for everyone. So
Yeah.
I do like it if you're not gonna allow the belt like the rest, just make it where you can't touch the belt at all.
Sure.
Here it
Or
was. No, that was this.
Where there's, sometimes there's that gray area. Well, you can't rest it, but if it touches it, it's okay. Well, then how long is it allowed to touch it? Then it starts getting more complicated. So it's either got to be.
So we've got Lucas Hatton coming out now,
He's a
who
big
I
presser.
know is an exceptional presser when it comes to the log.
He was one of the guys that said he was looking forward to
one
this
of the
event.
few.
He just hit, I believe, a 465 log in a competition here a few weeks ago.
He's
a good
looking
presser.
extremely good on the log. I think if he's as good on the axle, he's someone that could finish this.
So Lucas Hatton has a quick word with head judge Mark Philippi. And he's on the clock now, 2 minutes. 360 pounds.
And that was easy.
This will be interesting. This will be very telling.
I'm looking at the pace he's going at. I think he believes he can do all 5. He's not rushing.
That's not on the belt. That's the difference.
And that's a good, efficient clean there as well. And the press, once again, is easy for Lucas Hatton.
He's watching his time, being smart.
Yeah. This is a man that feels confident he can do all 5.
390 pounds now.
Because if you hit all 5 laws, the time not going to be that big of a play.
No.
Because you figure there's only going to be a couple guys that it's really going to matter again.
Yep.
So guys, he's through 3 apparatus in just 45 seconds. Now he's got the final 2. Little conversation there with Ed Cohen. He's got 1 minute mark right.
I think Ed was just reminding him that he can't touch the belt. 405-pound Axel onto the stomach.
Yep, that's okay.
Needs to pop it up to the shoulders now.
See what happened there.
That's not messing around weight, throwing 405 pounds onto your chest.
It's a heavy axle.
It's huge.
And then hoping you can get it there long enough you can re-grip.
Well, when you do that continental, you go from your stomach, whether you roll or you're doing like a flop like he's doing, sometimes when it catches you in the chest, Laws, it knocks the hell out of you.
I remember doing, I think we had a 207-kilo axle at the Arnold's, which was just cleaning.
Yeah.
And I remember the impact hitting my chest. It absolutely took everything out of me.
It's a ton.
And Lucas has had enough.
He made the first 3 look so easy.
45 seconds.
Kind of grabbed the hamstring there on that last go at it.
I think he might have hurt himself a little on that axle.
That it looked like it hurt.
It hurt me, and I didn't even touch it. So 360, 375, 390. He's good. Got all those done in 45 seconds. And then he really slowed his pace down once he hit that 405. Got it to his chest, but just could not lock it out and press. So Lucas Hatton heads back, and we will look to, I believe, Tristan Hoth, Canadian, will be coming back. You know, Brian, in talking with him coming to this event, guys, he did not want this to be easy. I think he was like, if guys are going through this and everyone's finishing the 5, I haven't accomplished what I set out to do.
Oh. Yeah, no, he wants to see that separation, you know. In a top level show where you're really pushing the limits, you should see that. You should see guys that are only hitting 1, maybe 2. You're going to get a few guys in that kind of middle that are hitting 3, maybe 4, and only just maybe a couple that are pushing to go after that 50.
You don't want to see everyone finish within like 5 seconds.
Right. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Absolutely.
Well,
if it was easy, I'd still be doing it. Instead, I'm sat out here with you guys.
Well, we want to see who's the strongest here this weekend.
Strongest man on earth is what we're looking for. Tristan Hoth now 32. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan is his home. 6'3", 330 pounds now. He'll start things off with 360 pounds in hand. This is 30 pounds heavier than his entire body weight.
Gets it, but you can see, you spoke about it earlier, the wrists were kind of giving way and causing that log to fall forwards.
Yeah.
Now he's onto the axle now. This is 375 pounds. You guys talk about the awkwardness of it. See how he quickly got above his belt.
Oof. You can see he's quite muscle bound in the shoulder and chest area. That makes it so hard to get that rack position.
That's where, you start losing that flexibility, that mobility in the shoulders.
Look at the size of that axle. Oh.
Guaranteed that was a big pinch, between the stomach and the belt.
Oh. If you know, you know.
Yeah, everybody's done an axle before. Went, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I always had to put the soft belt underneath.
Is this a prime example of this is an event where you probably don't want a 6-pack because there's nothing to lay it on?
That's where, that power belly that kind of people talk about helps to rest the axle on. And that's where guys like to use the belt instead of the belly, but...
Done.
Yeah, it definitely suits you to have a little bit of a power gut on this one. Have a shelf to set that axle on.
So Tristan Hoth now on that 375. I don't know if, and we've talked about this, guys, Jerry Laws, it's look at this, how he can roll the log up But when you get to that axle, the axle is so, the width of it is so awkward and the size of it. I mean, you guys both have pretty good sized hands, and Brian Shaw has some of the biggest hands in the world. Terry Holland's up for that. But if you have smaller hands,
it's definitely, you know, the axle, the grip factor is a big deal. Yeah. The bar is like the thickness of a Coke can. Yeah. So, you know, it's not like a normal bar. It doesn't rotate as well. The wheels are kind of fixed, so you really feel that whip of the kind of inertia that kind of pulls against you. Much more difficult than a bar.
That's why you're seeing the athletes do that flop grip, so they can get it up to their stomach.
And then re-grip it.
Because you have a really exceptional grip to do double overhand on an axle.
Wesley Dervinsky now on course, 2 minutes, 5 apparatus, starting off with 360 in the log.
Good press there on the log.
Finally gets it. A little wobbly there to lock out that left elbow.
They're going to hold him to it. They want to see under control, elbows locked, head through, knees locked, hips through, not dancing around.
We know we're not seeing any easy lifts given today.
Nothing, no give-me's.
And even getting the weights right now, this 375 is still very challenging for these athletes.
Now, he just did it again there, Laws. We saw it earlier on the deadlift. He grabbed that knee.
Yeah.
And you know the overhead.
Yeah.
That dip, you know, especially trying to clean that law or that axle and dipping under it.
Yes.
Man, that stab in the knee, if you got a knee that's already bothering you.
And he's limping off rather gingerly.
It will shut you down right away.
So Dervinsky successful in the first, 360. And again, that axle, 375. I think a lot of these athletes would love to see this maybe thrown into a river somewhere, not to be retrieved. That's lifting a pretty good sized human being above your head, and this is where,
So the best so far is still Thomas Evans.
Yep.
Managed to do 4 implements. Now this is a man that could do well.
Tom Stoltman.
Tom Stoltman's overhead has improved so much, and even though he's such a massive man, he has great mobility. I've seen him do axle with monstrous weight. I've seen him do massive log lifts. I think he can put in a really, really good performance on this one.
Yeah, he's very good with both of these implements. On their own. Now we're going to see how he puts them all together.
Over the last few years, his overhead has improved so much.
Yeah.
We always used to talk about his brother, Luke, as being the best. But in recent times, Tom's actually beaten him.
Look at this. This gives you hope that he may make it to the end, because he still has over 1:30 to go. He strolls up now to 390 pounds in the second log.
His clean was very easy on the axle. The press actually bobbled a little bit.
He didn't really use his legs much on that press. He just strict pressed.
Almost a Savickas little leg kick and strict press it out.
Needs to get those legs involved. There we go.
Wow, look at this. This is all upper body for big Luke Stoltman out of Scotland. And now this will be the telltale. Does he move into the lead if he can get this done? He's got over 1 minute to go for 2 apparatus, 4:05 on this one. And he's going to take his time.
I think this is smart. Take your time. He's got so much, still 1 minute to go on the clock. But I believe he can do this.
He needs the points here. You know,
Tom Stoltman.
I think he didn't end up on deadlift where I think you had hoped.
Yes, he wants big points on this event. Got to make sure he does not touch the belt. Better. There you go. Now he needs to pop hard with the hips and the legs.
There you go.
Nice. Use your legs. There you go, Tom Stoltman.
Let's see it. Let's see this fifth one go.
30 seconds to go. Can he get the 420 up? Be the first athlete. Takes a look over at the clock. He is absolutely gassed. The big Scotsman. He's got 20 seconds to get this done.
He's going for this. Come on.
420
Let's go,
pounds.
Tom. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Come on, Tom. He gets into the shoulders. He's got time. Yes! He gets the down signal.
And the crowd loves it. Everyone is on their feet.
Tom Stoltman, all 5 implements with only 5 seconds to spare. That is impressive.
That was definitely using the clock to everything you have.
That was hard at the end there as well, because he was looking at that. You could see he was breathing hard, but he's a fighter. He's a champion for a reason.
You can tell if that 405 was, I really don't want to do this 420. I really don't want to do it. Yeah, that was all grit. That I've got to get it done.
Tom Stallman.
He knew he needs the points. These are going to be big points for him. Put him back in contention.
Absolutely.
And right there, he gets the good lift, 420 pounds, all 5 implements in under 2 minutes. And Tom Stoltman has now set the bar to beat. So American Trey Mitchell now makes the slow stroll out, looks down the belly of the beast and sees the 5 apparatus that he has to lift to move himself into contention.
And in past years, when it was just the log, Trey has won this event, a couple of times. Let's see what shape he's in. We know he's strong enough to do the logs. How's the recovery gone? Are the axles going to slow him down?
2 minutes on the clock.
Look at that.
Easy work on the first log.
He just stood up with that log. Wasn't really clean.
Oh man, just setting that on his chest.
Good press there.
All right, Trey, let's see it.
I don't think this is going to be a problem.
390 pounds.
Strong pressing.
Okay, guys, so here's the situation. He went through the first 3 apparatus in just under 30 seconds. So if he can get this 405 up, he's got an opportunity to take the lead if he can get all 5.
Yeah, that's definitely the fastest we've seen on 3.
For me, it's all about this implement. I think he gets the log. It's can he get this axle?
Yep. I think he's going to get it.
Needs a big pop.
Oh!
Come on, Trey, get those arms through. There you
Power
go.
of the belly.
He's going to press this now. Come on.
Big leg drive. There you go.
Yes.
Still has 50 seconds to
All
get
right,
this
Trey,
up.
let's see it. Let's see it. Come on.
Trey is a huge log presser. He can do this. Use the time, Trey.
Trey Mitchell out of Lumberton, Texas, right now, a 2-time Shaw Classic
People are
winner.
standing once again.
He needs to get this done in about 25 seconds to move into first.
Let's see it, Trey. Crowd wants to see it.
We all want to see this, Trey. Come on. Trey Mitchell.
Big clean. Levels up.
Yes.
Stabilize.
Down signal. There we go. And all of a sudden,
Well,
after
20
seeing,
seconds to spare.
after seeing so many athletes struggle, there's 2 athletes in a row
Back to
that
back.
have done all 5 implements.
That was impressive.
Trey Mitchell with a Herculean effort to move himself into first place as he gets the 420 and he locks it out.
Well, you know, Laws, how much other competitors can up your level. What you thought you might have been capable of on this, you see someone go like, all right, game on, let's go.
We've got to raise that level. We've got to do it.
So 2 athletes have completed it. Our next athlete's going to be
Amazing
Evan
effort there
Singleton.
from Trey
Terry, what
Mitchell.
happened earlier with Evan?
Oh, sorry, Evan's up next, about to do the pressing medley. I spoke to Mark Philippi earlier about the deadlift, and basically what the long and the short of it was, he just let his grips go just slightly. His thumb came off the bar, and it was spoken in the rules meeting before the competition. You really have to be hand and thumb around the bar with a good secure grip. He let it just slip off a little bit. Even though he was hitching it, you could see it gradually coming out of his hand, and that was why Mark Philippi didn't allow the lift.
All right, thank you, Terry. And that was disappointing for Evan Singleton. He was surprised. That would have put him into the top 3 position. But as it stands, he doesn't get those points. Now T-Rex out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the 31-year-old, will try to rebound nicely here, guys. Laz, what do you think with Evan on this discipline?
I got to say, I feel for Evan there,
Yeah,
because
I do too.
that was extremely strict.
Yeah.
You know, it slipped slightly, but the thumb was still on the bar. I think he should have been given that lift. However, we've got to see, has Evan really matured now? He looked like he did with the way he reacted to not being given the lift. Old Evan, he would have let it affect the whole contest. I think he's got to compose himself, focus on this. He's a good overhead lifter. He could do very well here. He's just got to focus on getting himself back into the competition.
And this is an event you have to be very calm on. You can't get yourself worked up.
No, there's a lot of technique to these lifts.
Yeah.
Good wide stance. Evan Singleton now gets the lockout on 360. Does that in under 10 seconds. Now he's onto the 375, and this is where the apparatus gets a little awkward.
375 on an axle, it's heavy. Come on, Evan. Good press being held. Made to hold it.
He's won that head through.
Yeah.
He shot the press really fast, but he left his head out, and they want to see that head through. The quicker you can snap your head through and look at the judge,
Yes.
the faster down you're going to get.
I always try to look at the judge,
Yeah.
like look him in the
Yeah.
eye and say,
Yep.
I'm good.
Kind of force him to give you that down.
390 pounds. Yeah, I don't think he just did not look really comfortable with the first log, the 360, and now you've tacked on 30 more pounds. Still has 50 seconds. He can roll this thing back into place.
Unfortunately, now he really hurt his shot at getting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now he's got to go fetch it and bring it back and reset it on the pads because it has to come off the pads to press it.
And the athletes have to reset it themselves as well.
Yeah. And to reset a 390 log, that low, that's a big strain on the hamstring.
I think it's a smart move. He would have had to lift it onto the pads, then start all over again.
And no better than that first attempt looked at it.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And especially after pulling it off the ground.
Here's Evan on the 375.
I do feel for him, honestly. That deadlift in my books was a good lift. And I know he's going to try and do the right thing and not respond to it. But in the back of his head, he's going to be thinking about it. He's going to be, why didn't they give it to me? The judges are against me. And whether that's true or not, he'll be thinking it, which is what you don't want to be doing. And then, he's been made to hold lifts a little bit longer than maybe he wants. He's going to just get a bad thought process in his head about the referee.
Definitely has to bounce back between the second and
One of
third
those things,
event.
though, he knew the rules going into it. He knew they were going to be strict. He knew that was one of the things, and you can watch him before he went. And I think this goes back to, he gets too little hyped up and you don't think.
Yeah.
But you see before he started pull, he actually kind of loosened his grip a little bit. So he'd already put him in a compromised position. So as it come up, then it starts stretching more. So really, you got to be a smarter lifter than that.
New Zealand's Matthew Ragg now stepping up. 2 minutes on the clock. First apparatus, 360 pounds. It's a log.
Matt looked very, very strong on the deadlift. Maybe jumped a little too high in the end, but he's looking powerful. Let's see how the overhead looks.
Easy press. Strict
No
press.
legs at all.
Strict press.
He's a powerful man, isn't he?
He is. Big broad shoulders, big back.
Traps, shoulders, back, legs, arms. Just a beast.
I'm curious on his shoulder mobility on this axle. How, with shoulders like that, how well he can get under that axle.
I've seen him on the axle a couple of times now. It's not the best event.
Yeah.
Timed event. This is 375. Only 2 athletes have completed all 5 apparatus so far. Just did not like the positioning there.
Does not feel good. It's painful.
Yeah. You felt the shirt slipping a little there. You just need to make sure you pull it down as tight as possible.
Matthew Ragg looking to keep pace with the
This
top
isn't good
folks,
for
and
Matt.
not good at all.
I know my self-laws. Years ago, early in my career, I was really good at axle. I was leaner, better shoulder mobility. Then as I progressed and I gained weight and it got bigger, my shoulders got stronger, my log press went up, my strict press, but my axle.
I was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I had that good shoulder mobility. Axle was great. As I progressed, got a few shoulder injuries. Pressing got better.
Yeah.
Axle got worse.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could take it out of the rack, I could probably strict press
Yeah.
it better than I could clean it anymore. I was almost better on a lighter axle where I could just full clean it than having to continental it.
Going back to Matt there, do you think he made a mistake on the deadlift? Because I think he could have easily taken second place.
I think it was a huge mistake.
Here's Austin Andrade, guys, as he gets ready to go. This will be interesting. I think this will be really telling because he did well in the first event. I don't think a lot of people expected him to finish as high as he did, but he did finish in that top 5 position. And now an opportunity, if he can complete all 5 apparatus or even get close to it in 2 minutes.
He's another athlete that looks like he can log press no problem. The question is going to be the axle. If he's got the mobility in the shoulders, we know he's got the power to press. All about getting this from the floor up to the shoulders efficiently. Reverse grip. Drives and pulls at the same time. So driving with the legs, pulling with the upper body.
Three-part play with these axles. It's to that belly area, then onto the chest, then the lockout. He's good at 375. Still has a full 90 seconds to go, and he's got 3 more apparatus. This one's going to be 390.
Looking good. I don't think this will be a problem for him.
The only concern for him right now is possibly he running out of time.
Still got over a minute, and I don't know that he's going to go for all 5. I think he's got to be looking at points here. He'll get this log, and then if he can get the 4th implement, that will put him in a good place.
So 3 implements down in about a minute's time, and now he moves on to the 405.
Just watching his axle with the 375, it was a good lift, but 405 is going to be a challenge.
That's going to sting.
Just trying to recover. It's so hard. Like, you can't recover in 30 seconds. You just can't. You know, you can't recover in 2 minutes.
Does a great job of the regrip. Oh!
Come on, big pop.
Onto the chest.
He's got it.
20 seconds.
Unfortunately, as he kind of cleaned it, his hand slipped slightly wider, and it puts him then in a weaker position to press.
Got 10 seconds, and I just don't think he's going to do it. Yeah, he waves it off. So a good run. He got 3 apparatus done in right at 59 seconds. We'll call it 1 minute.
Still going to be decent points.
Yeah, we've seen 3 implements. There's nothing to be sniffed at.
No, that's a tough feat just getting through the first 3.
It seemed like to me, guys, that was calculated coming in. I think he really didn't think he was going to get to that 4th or 5th and final implement. I think it was the 4th one that he was gunning for.
Yeah. That's just where, being smart as an athlete and train this well and knowing where you're at and not letting anybody take you out of that.
So here's a really good log presser, but as amazing as he is at log, he's another athlete that lacks that kind of mobility on the axle. So I think if he can get the 2nd axle, the 3rd log's not going to be a problem. That 4th axle will be the real challenge for Bobby. If he gets the 4th axle, I think he'll get the log.
Just a reminder, this is only the 2nd event of 4 we've got scheduled today at the first day of the Shock Classic, Strongest Man on Earth. As we have 2 athletes that have completed all 5 implements, of course, being Trey Mitchell and Tom Stoltman. Trey Mitchell has done it the fastest, beating Stoltman's time by just a few seconds. And now, American log press record holder in Bobby Thompson, the 31-year-old out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, on the clock now. 2 minutes.
Bobby loves a log press. Strict press is the first log.
.375.
It's a good pop to the shoulder. He'll press this, no problem.
So that's 2 implements done. Did the whole thing in 20 seconds. Now he strategically put his chalk here on this 3rd log. This is 390 pounds for him. He's got 90 seconds to go.
Come on, Bobby. As I said, log press is his bread and butter. This is the kind of event he's good with. Not sure what happened then. He was kind of
backed off
his foot a little.
Well, maybe the log slid on him a little bit.
Oh, he's struggling with the clean, and now he's pulling his hamstring.
So Bobby Thompson, a left leg issue there as he bows out.
I noticed on the axle laws, he kind of kicked his leg when he walked away, like it might have started. I think that started on the axle.
He had a hamstring issue a few months back after World's Strongest Man. But he's been training pretty well, but then you do the deadlift raw, and then you kind of come into these.
It's a lot of posteriorness.
Yes.
I mean, the log, axle, the clean knees, it's a lot of hamstrings and low back.
I mean, we've seen a few athletes that are feeling it already after 2 events. It's going to be a brutal weekend.
Yeah, we're not halfway done with
Not
today.
even halfway.
Well, today. Tomorrow.
And there's the reaction from Bobby Thompson as he waves it off. So he'll be credited with 2 apparatus. 25 seconds. Mitchell Hooper now, the runner-up from last year's competition. 21-year-old from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. stands 6'3", weighs in at 325. 2023 World's Strongest Man Champion, the 2023 Rogue Invitational winner as well. Guys, he's had a good run over the last 2 years. Of course, last year being the runner-up here at the Shaw Classic to Brian Shaw himself.
And just a few weeks ago, he broke the Axel world record as well. So he's an athlete that does have good mobility, very explosive.
How about this? Is this kind of like calling your shot? I'll go ahead and put the chalk at the very end because I know I'm going to get there. Oh, yeah.
He knows what he has to have for points. So he knows he has to get to that 50.
He'll have seen the times as well by Tom and by Trey as well. He'll want to beat those. However, he needs to focus on each individual implement.
So 2 minutes on the clock. Mitchell Hooper currently in second place in the overall standings. Here we go. That was the first log, 390 pounds, 163 kilos.
So he's one of the rare athletes that will probably look better on the axle than on the log.
He does not do the reverse grip. One hand over, one hand under. Here he is on 390.
So he needs to get those legs involved this time.
Wow.
Just got away from himself a little bit.
Yeah,
He's
pushed
better
that
to
away,
be pushing more up and back. He's just letting that log come forward slightly.
Caught the belt. Mark Philippi quickly pointed it out to him so he wouldn't waste any more time or energy. There you go, pops it onto the chest. 1 minute to go.
Sticking with the push press.
So he could actually take over the lead if he can get this last implement up in the next 20 seconds.
He's going to need to be better in terms of bar path on this.
Yeah.
If he lets this log get away from him, it'll be too heavy to just kind of fix out.
Yeah, he's got to get those handles pointed up and get this thing go back over his head.
He's going to have to go fairly soon if he wants to get ahead of Trey.
Trey Mitchell, Tom Stoltman, the only two athletes so far to complete the entire 5 implements. Still has 30 seconds. Got it!
Bouncing, he gets all 3. I think he's in second place. The Trey Mitchell still in the lead. He was quicker than Tom Stoltman. We've had 3 athletes now complete this brutal overhead medley.
Mitchell Hooper completes all 5 apparatus in under 2 minutes, so he is definitely in the conversation, only 3 now.
Now the real interesting thing, a big talking point coming into this competition is what is Thor's pressing like?
Yeah.
He suffered a pec tear last year. His pressing is not what it used to be. If he comes into this competition and can finish this overhead medley, the other athletes are going to be very scared.
They're in trouble, yeah. Yeah, because a couple competitions he has done this year, that pressing has shown that it wasn't back yet, but he's had some time since
The
then.
big advantage he does have is going, I mean, I know we're going to let a few athletes go after just because of what happened, but he gets to go towards the end. He's seen what the other athletes can do. He doesn't need to worry really about doing all 5. He might decide a fast 2 or 3 will get me good points.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the advantage right now to see exactly where he needs to be to just stay in good points because he already got an event win. He's just got to stay in striking distance on this because he knows that this is potentially maybe his worst event. Yeah.
So Mitch Hooper is in the lead, guys. He was faster than Trey Mitchell, so he is in first place, and now the mountain. Hafthor Bjornsson, 35-year-old from Reykjavik, steps up to this first log, makes it look more like a 2x4. It's 360 pounds as the big Icelandic man steps here and waits for the clock to get set. 2 minutes, he's on the clock.
Gets the down signal on the first implement. So this one will pick him up points. Two implements we've seen many athletes struggle to get this first axle.
Easy clean.
There was a strict press, but he's made it.
Calling for some fan support here at Blue Arena.
He gets a good, better leg drive, that thing will fly up.
Yeah. His timing was off in terms of like the push press, but he's just so strong.
Winner of the first event, Hafthor Bjornsson, 390 pounds.
Can he get this log?
Oh.
Now he's got to reset it.
He's got time, but it just looked uncomfortable, didn't
Yeah.
it? It almost looked like he's so big that he was struggling to kind of get those elbows locked out. He almost could do with wider handles.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, he's not going through a reset process, even though he has 40 seconds.
It's smart. He's got so many good events to come. I do believe that Thor probably has the ability to win the most events, but this is the one event that, coming into this, it was expected that he would struggle.
And I think going into the next event, I think everybody's chasing him, honestly, with that cake toss. With his power and height.
Stones as well today.
And Stones, so the next two. So he doesn't want to take a chance of anything going wrong on this. Just get some points and let's move on.
So Hafthor Bjornsson taps out after 2 apparatus. He was successful at 360, 375. Played it smart here. Looked like he was close to the lockout, but just not quite there, as Chief Judge Martin Philippi did not give him the all-clear signal. So, the situation now is this. Maxime Boudreau, who went first, however, the apparatus were in the wrong position. He actually went from 360 to 405 when it should have been 360 to 375. They've rectified that, they've fixed it, they've allowed the athletes to come back and give it another run if they want. Some have opted to, some have not. Pavlo Kordiaka, who actually lifted the 360 first log and then the 405, which was in the wrong place, has opted not to come out and give it another go.
I'm surprised with that actually is I mean, he got the clean on the 405. I think he would snap through the first 2 pretty quick, which potentially could be good points.
Yeah.
But is it worth the energy exerting knowing that he still has 2 more events to go today?
That's always a little bit of gamble in there.
So Brian Shaw talking to the crowd, explaining what the mistake was. There's 2 apparatus that were in the wrong position. The axle for 405 was in 375, 375 was in 405. The athletes noticed it, something just didn't seem right. They came out, measured it. They look exactly the same, dimensions and all that, but one was 30 pounds heavier. So Maxime Boudreau, who went first, didn't really have a problem with 360, but struggled with 405 or 375, which now makes sense, Lawrence, because it wasn't 375, it was 405. He was like, boy, that sure feels like more than 375, and he was right.
He was indeed.
Max is a good presser. I think a few weeks ago at his last competition, I think he hit like a 455 log. Yeah. So the logs aren't a problem for him.
He'll have the confidence that he can do 3 fast.
Yeah. And this would be huge for points, guys, if he can get to that 3rd apparatus.
And he needs it. After the deadlift, he knows he needs many points on this if he can.
What have we got? We've got 3 athletes that have done all 5, 1 athlete that's done 4. So a fast 3 is going to be big points.
There you go.
And he's moving. This should feel a lot lighter than...
He's not messing around. Rushed a little bit there, didn't he? Needs to get in the right position.
There he goes. Uh-oh.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he says, step away, I got this. Got this.
He's just entertaining us.
He's going to take a second rest and as we go on.
He still has more than 1:15, so he's going to catch his breath, and this would be massive.
He just rushed that axle and tried to press without being in the correct position.
Come on, Maxine. 390
Let's
pounds.
see it. You need this.
Come on, Max.
Come on, let's see it. We need this, Max.
390.
There you go. Big pop.
Yes! And look at this crowd erupt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
What a
worry
comeback.
about this one now. There we go, yes.
Says, I want no part of 405. I will take my 3 and move on.
After that accident, that was a great comeback.
That was really good.
That was huge.
He worked so hard on that second axel. Managed to compose himself and get the third log.
You know what I think Brian loves more than putting on this event? Hanging out with the athletes.
Oh, he does.
He just loves being with his fellow competitors.
You got to respect that type of effort.
Yeah.
I think that's why the crowd are on their feet.
Absolutely.
You know, he isn't in the lead on that event, but the effort that he put in, we can all appreciate.
I told you it was very close. Here's how close it was. Less than 0.6 of a second. Separated first from second. In third place, at 112 seconds completion, was Tom Stoltman. Now, we saw Trey Mitchell take the lead.
Do we not still have Pavlo to come?
I'm sorry, we do have one more contestant.
No, Pablo said he wasn't going to do it.
Really?
Yeah, he opted out of going again.
My apologies.
Ivers.
My apologies. I never do anything
Hey,
premature,
hey.
but I did.
We got some energy left, right?
Ivars.
So, we'll see it.
Avar Smukstelis wants to give it another go. He was part of the first run that had the implements in the wrong spot. He says, no, no, no. I saw what Max just did. Give me a shot. He just wanted to come out and lift one more log.
Come on, you've got to try this, Ivers.
Come on. Let's see it.
He did it in
I know he
10
doesn't like the
seconds. He's
axle,
gonna
but if you're
lose the
coming out,
wraps.
you've got to put the effort in. Because he's strong enough to get the 390 log.
Didn't want it. But you know what? He came out, gave it a shot. I respect it.
Good.
Ivor Smukstelis. Now we can start calculating, but I can tell you this, guys. We are talking less than a second between first and second place, and we only had 3 that got all 3 done. So let's check in with Matt, who's done the math. He may be premature on athletes and all that, but he's not premature on his scoring. So Matt, what do you got for us?
So, as I was saying, Trey Mitchell then had the next best time. His time was 100.9 seconds. Mitchell Hooper's time, 100.33 seconds. Mitchell Hooper wins the log press axle medley by 0.6 of a second.
The moose is loose as Mitchell Hooper, who was in second place overall, wins the second event, guys. I had my doubts, but when he put his chalk on the 4th and 5th implement, I said, there's a guy calling a shot.
Yeah.
He always knew 5 was capable, but he must have been worried after seeing Trey go, because Trey put in a fantastic performance on this event. It's good to see Trey back doing really well. But Mitch Hooper just a fraction faster.
Let's send it back down to the floor. Matt Eisman's with the winner.
Axel medley, the Moose. Moose, I saw you eyeing the clock. You were cutting it close. Did you know it was 0.6 of a second between you and Trey Mitchell?
I knew it was damn close. I didn't know it was 0.6 of a second. But sometimes to win these shows, you just have to have a couple of breaks go your way, and thankfully for me, that was one of them.
So, second in the first event, first in the second event. You're just Mr. Consistency. As you're looking for the other 6 events, what are we expecting? How you feeling?
You should see a lot of the same of what you've seen so far. I'm not looking at anything petrified. I'm not looking at anything saying it's in the bag. So that's all you can do is have no weaknesses, and that's my strength is having no weaknesses. In fact, I came second at Shaw in 2022, third. In 2023, I came second, and hopefully this year we're here to win. And this is my first event win, so it shows you don't have to win an event to have a great result. But hopefully a couple of event wins and we're good to go.
Now, I did have one last question for you. As you were walking off after you got that 420, I thought I read your lips. I thought you said something along the lines of you were talking to the crowd saying, "This is my show." What were you saying?
No, it was an expletive.
Okay. Well, listen, I know you got a beautiful 6-month-old daughter at home. What do you want to say to your wife and your daughter who are watching?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for giving me no grief for going to the gym every day, sleeping in, and letting me come out to these things, because having a baby it's a 2-person job, and she does 1.8% or 1.8 person job, and I basically
1.8%. Good thing you caught that.
1.8 person, 99% of the job. I basically get to have my baby as my reprieve and enjoy the laughs and the smiles. So to be honest, I love the show. I love you guys. I'm excited about 6 more events, and I'm twice as excited to get back home.
Well, Mrs. Moose, I saw him this morning, and the first thing he did was pulled out his phone and showed me a video of his daughter laughing, and this big guy started tearing up and smiling. Moose, congratulations, you did it.
Mitchell Hooper gets the win, the second event on day number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Look at this, guys. This was wanting it.
Look at that back bend. So horrible to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
You think the pressure he's put on himself, but he copes with it absolutely fine.